Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. I've had several people ask me in the comments about some of my knives I got back over my shoulder here, and you guys can see I've got quite a few knives hanging there. I probably got at least 40 plus knives there, and if you figure in my multi-tools and my machetes and my folding knives, I probably got upwards of 70 knives. And anyway, I had different people ask me about those knives, and I thought I'd take some time here to show you my favorite two that I have up there. And my favorite two are my ESEE 6. It's a 6-inch sort of survival camp knife, and then my PR4. The PR4 stands for Patrick Rawlins, that was the original designer of this particular knife here, and the 4 denotes that it's 4 inches long. So these are my two favorite knives, and I can't really tell you which is more favorite than the others, because I enjoy them both. And if I was going out on a long, whatever, I was going out camping for 10 days or something, or I was going to spend maybe 3 nights, 4 nights out in the woods, I would probably take both of these along. I would carry this on my belt, the PR4 on my belt, and I probably have this one in my pack, although they're both set up to be on a belt. And this one I carry, my PR4 here, I carry in the original leather sheath, and this leather sheath here, I protect it with basically a shoe wax, like a snow seal. I heat up the leather, I rub that on, once a year or something, to give this a little bit of protection against the leather. And the knife sits down in here deep, so I got a little knot of paracord on here that I can use to pull this knife out. And these are all from ESEE. ESEE is kind of known for making their 1095 carbon steel blades. These are fairly easy to sharpen, and I can hone these guys razor sharp. And ESEE is sort of a middle of the road price wise. So these knives don't cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You got to spend a little bit to get these guys, but I think that the money that these guys charge, they're really worth it, because they're lifetime warranty too if they would ever break. And the style of this knife here is what's called a Kephart. The woodsman Horace Kephart was known for his spear-pointed knife about this size. And I actually have a local knife here that is extremely similar to this Kephart here. And this knife, I believe, was made locally, and then the handle was riveted on here by one of the old-timers. The old-timers would typically make knives like this out of old saw blades. So if they had a broken 1-man or 2-man crosscut saw blade, they would take an emery wheel and they would cut the shape of the knife out that they wanted, and then they would either rivet or glue, sometimes both, scales on there of either the oak or the white ash that was around here. And they would make knives like that, and then they would put an edge on them, and they would sharpen them. They would sharpen them on the grindstone, get the bevel that they wanted, and then they would hone them down with a stone. And it's very similar to this, modern mass-produced PR4 here. And this particular style, I like it. A lot of the reason I like it is these weird scales that are on here. These are actually very, very grippy and got a very good grip on here. And these, this is some kind of micarta. I think it's like a burlap micarta, what they put on here. But I have fairly small hands, so I can have a good grip on this. And with this spear point on here, this blade's pretty nice for making notches and making little holes in wood and different things. And then, of course, the back is a 90-degree spine, so I can use this to strike a ferro rod. You can see I got notches and stuff on there, and that's from putting it down on a piece of either char cloth or some other char, and then taking a piece of chert and hitting the back of this to spark it off to start a fire. And another thing that I really like this spear point Kephart style is I make a lot of sauerkraut, and that spear point on there is awesome for splitting big heads of cabbage. Push the point in, split the head, and then cut it into quarters so I can put it on my kraut cutter, and I can cut my cabbage up. But this is one of my favorite knives. This, along with that ESEE 6 there, they are my dream combination. Now getting into the bigger here, the ESEE6, this is what this guy looks like. And this sheath here I have modified pretty heavy over the years. And this again too is the 1095 steel, just like the other one is. But I've modified it to carry a ferro rod, so I got my fire making ability on there. And I've added a dangler. The clip that's on here, it works, but it sits high on your back when you have it on a belt, and it makes it harder to resheath the knife. But where you have this dangler, it hangs down lower, it's easier to resheath the knife, and that's why I've added a dangler onto this. And I also have some Ranger band here, the inner tube, bicycle inner tube, and I got another piece underneath this, and then I use that as basically a gripping material to put this 36 bank line on here and straight lash that on there, so then this doesn't move or want to slide off of the sheath. And that gives me some cordage always with this particular sheath. And then if you look on the back side here, you can see I got a little piece of Gorilla Tape, and there's a little bit of a knob right there. Well, underneath that knob is a needle. So then I can use that needle with some gutted paracord and stuff. I can take the guts out of paracord, and I could stitch up a pair of pants or something that has ripped out in the field, and that has happened to me multiple times. And then another thing that I added this long lanyard on here, this long orange piece of lanyard. In case I set it down, I can find it, I can see it. And I like this longer lanyard on here because I can wrap it around my hands, even with gloves and stuff on 2 or 3 times. And that way, if I'm doing something where I think I'm going to drop the knife or there's a chance of maybe losing a knife, I'm going to wrap that around so that doesn't do that. But then I actually tied a knot on the end of it, and using some paracord and a shock cord lock right there, I actually use that as a secondary retention. So I can put that knot in there, and I can cinch down that lock, and it gives another means of retention. Although I don't think this knife would ever fall out of the sheath, it just gives me extra peace of mind if it's jostling around in a pack or something. And I just pull the lock and then flip that over like that, and then it'll come out. And it's got the thumb spot right there, so you can push and pull out the knife. And this is what the ESEE6 looks like. And the reason I like this guy here, it's got that choil on it. It's got the grooves up here, so I can get high on this knife if I want to carve or I want to do some type of fine work. But then this knife, being 3/16 of an inch thick, this knife right here, if I got to beat around on it, like splitting the pelvis in a deer, or busting the ribs, opening up a rib cage on a deer or a larger animal, or using a baton or something to do more hatchet type jobs, this knife can do it. And because it's that 1095 steel, it doesn't take much to hone this guy back to a razor sharp edge. And this on here, it's got what's called linen micarta, and that micarta it looks smoother, but it actually isn't. And especially when this gets wet, it's very, very grippy. And it's the perfect size for larger tasks. So with both of these knives here, when I'm out in the woods or whatever, I could do lots of stuff with these. I could, build Adirondack style chairs. I could make a table if I had enough cordage. I could build shelters and windbreaks and tripods and hooks and toggles and any little thing that you might need out in the woods for a few days. You could make yourself a little bit of a baton, and you could go from there. And if you take these two knives and you match them up with a good folding saw, something like a Silky or a steel pruning saw or a Baco Laplander, you're going to have a really good set of woodworking tools to build stuff with. You can use this guy for the heavy stuff. You can use the PR4 for the light, more everyday stuff, even food preparation. This saber grind on this PR4 makes it a little bit thinner, so it's easier for slicing stuff, things like food preparation and whatnot. And when I'm done using these knives out in the woods or whatever, I'll take them home, clean them up, and like this one here, I'll put a coat of olive oil on this because I always want this guy to be ready for food prep if necessary. And another thing I'll do is I'll wipe them down, and I'll put a little oil on these screws here holding the scales on so they don't rust as well. But this is my show and tell here on my favorite knives, my ESEE6 and my PR4. And like I said, ESEEs are lifetime warranted, so if something had ever happened to these knives, I can always get replacements for them. So anyway, that's sort of what they look like right there. But anyway, I appreciate you guys out there. Hope you guys always get something out of my videos. Just talking a little bit here about my favorite knives. Anyway, you guys have a good one.